I'm Miles Perry. We're at the Super Command Center. I'm here with Jamin Dawson. Jamin, how are you, Jamin? What's your week looking like? What'd you do this week before we get into my guy Derek Templeton out of Jones? No, hey, it sounds like a busy day, and it sounds like a good summer though. You sound like you busy and keeping things in check.
Yeah, you know they say busy is good, so trying to stay in good graces.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have Derek Templeton out of Jones on the phone right now. We're gonna bring him in and talk about Jones football and him himself and what he's accomplished. Derek, how are you?
Good. How are you?
We're great. It's great to hear your voice, Derek. For the people that don't know you, real quick, can you tell everybody who you are and what school you go to and what position you play as well on the football field?
Yes, sir. My name's Derek Templeton. I'm from Jones High School, and I play cornerback.
Derek, how's your summer going? Last week, 4th of July weekend, you picked up a big offer from Kansas State. You're a rising junior. How was that?
Man, it was great. I was actually in Florida, and he called, and, it was great. And the summer's been going good for me. Picked up an offer at UTSA at one of their camps, and, yeah.
How's recruitment going in general? You hold a few offers. I shouldn't say few, more than a few. As a rising junior, I feel like the class of 2028 is loaded in the state of Oklahoma. Your brother as well has a few offers. Your twin brother.
Yeah.
How's recruiting going as a whole, though?
It's going good. It just kind of started taking off late April, and ever since then, it's been quite a busy time.
So just touching on your brother as well, how is it like playing with your brother and being able to go out there and win a state championship?
It was a really cool experience. It's not very often you get to have two corners playing at the same time, and it's just a really cool experience.
Derek, tell us about the Jones football atmosphere. It's a winning program. I think it was interesting this summer. I said you guys got like about 8 new coaches, it looked like, on the staff.
Yeah.
Is what it felt like. Coach Sean Love, your defensive back coach, he's coming back. Tell us this about what the atmosphere is like right now in the program with all the coaching changes and with the new atmosphere that's kind of happening in the building at Jones.
Yeah, it's been really great getting to know all the new coaches, and Coach Reed, he's done a great job this spring at getting everything going, and super glad to have Sean Love back at the position group. He's taught a lot of things that have helped me get to where I'm at now.
And I think it's cool, Derek. I talked to Sean about you guys, you and your brother, I think it was at the basketball state tournament. It was after you guys won, and he told me, he goes, keep an eye on the Templeton boys. They're gonna be big. And you know, I gotta believe that legend Sean Love, you know, former Oklahoma State great, and John Marshall great, and so I've been keeping my eye on you guys ever since then. How's it like to have a mentor like him in your DB room?
You know, it's great. He played receiver in college, which is really cool, and he knows, like, he helps us like game plan really well because he knows what the receivers are going to do, and taking that to the other side of the ball, it's really cool.
So just kind of, Derek, talk about your mindset when you're lining it up. When you see a receiver in front of you, what are you looking at first, and just how do you break a guy down?
Well, first off, I look at their size and their speed, and you know, if they're a bigger guy and not much speed, I'll go up and press and get hands on. And then if they're faster, which I'll probably play off, or, you know, whatever coverage we're in. It just depends. But you know, it's all about winning the rep, and every single play, every down, making sure they don't come down with the ball.
Now, what's your favorite thing about lining up against somebody receiver? You know, and having a one-on-one competition. You run track as well, so you know track is a one-on-one, an individual sport. So what's it like lining up on an island with somebody?
You know, it's nerve-wracking, but you know, you just gotta lock up and don't let them catch it. The best feeling is either a pass breakup or a, you know, interception, one-on-one coverage.
And you had a big one. I saw a picture of the Oklahoman earlier late in the season. What was that like? It was you running backwards and you looking at the ball, not running backwards. You run towards the end zone the defender was going to. I think you might remember what I'm recalling. The picture is everywhere on social media. And you picked it off. It was in the playoffs, a big pick. What take us through those moments? Because you said it's the best feeling in the world, a pass breakup or interception. Take us through that moment when you got that big interception in the playoffs.
I think you're talking about when we played Marlowe.
Yeah, Marlowe. Yes.
Yeah. You know, we went into that game. No one, you could tell what they were going to run. You know, like head fake out. You know, he's running a post, and you know, that's what really happened. And you know, I just saw the ball up in the air, just went and grabbed it, and you know, that's one of the best feelings you can have. Make a big play in a big game.
And what's your best strength of your game? I've always wanted to ask you this doing research on you and looking you guys up. What do you think your best strength is on defense? Is it you being able to read the defender, like you've been talking about clearly throughout this whole you're capable to read the defender, his keys and his speed and size and all that. What do you feel like your best strength is on defense?
I feel like my best strength personally is press coverage and you know, just knowing where they're going to go when the ball's snapped.
So you love one-on-one is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I hear a lot of kids in high school talk about they love one-on-one covers. I feel like you hear a lot of kids in zone covers or cover 3 or, you know, something that kind of helps them on the backside. So you love being on the island then.
Yeah. Coach Love, you know, he teaches us all the technique, and you know, that's all we practice in practice is press man and catch technique, and that's just really perfecting it is what makes it so fun.
So only press man and catch. That's crazy. That's a skill you can take with you forever. Because you don't like I said, like for instance, you don't see many people, Jamin, if you can piggyback off this, is playing press man in high school. Because I feel like watched a lot of high schools, a lot of cover 2, cover 3, you know, sky zone, you know, like whatever, you know, the packages you could put it in. But I think that's pretty cool. Coach Love is only teaching you guys press man and press catch coverage. So how do college coaches look at your film and talk about that with you? What are they most excited to see in your film when they talk to you?
I think they're just you know, they just like the film and like see that we're both really good in man coverage, and they see that, and they love it.
So you're a gifted athlete. I mean, it jumps off the screen watching your film. But what's 1 or 2 things you've been working on this offseason that you want to improve going back out there this fall?
Man, I'd say speed. You know, you can't ever have enough speed. Getting in and out of breaks, and yeah, that's really the main thing.
And how hard? Like, explain to people that are listening, because getting out of breaks is hard. That's like you speed in playing DB. Like they say, I think it's the hardest position on the football field. Explain to the listeners of Oklahoma City. In Oklahoma City, we're talking to Derek Templeton, the star defensive back at the Jones High School class of 2028 Rising Junior. But Derek, tell the listeners how hard it is to get out of a break, because I don't think people understand that concept. For a receiver too, it's hard to get out of a break. But can you explain to us how hard it is to get out of a break?
Man, it's hard. Like, for example, if you're playing on turf, like, you get out of a break, you can easily slip or, like fall, or so you just gotta stay in your frame and get out of your break quick, break on the ball.
And Derek, talk about your schedule coming up. Change the talk of this year. Who's somebody you guys won it all last year, so you guys are the hunted.
Mm-hmm.
You have the target on your back. So on your schedule this upcoming season? Who's someone you guys are looking forward to playing against? Because I know you guys are the hunted, but you guys are still going hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Who's someone you guys?
Oh,
my fault.
I'd say week 0, Lincoln Christian.
Oh, that's a big
and
game.
And then week 3, Mount St. Mary.
And Lincoln Christian just dropped out of class. They just came down to yeah. So that's gonna be. Is at Lincoln Christian, right?
No, it's at Jones.
Oh, so it makes it even a little sweeter for you guys. At Jones, Lincoln Christian versus Jones. That'd be. Anybody else you guys have not on that hit list or the hunting list you guys have this upcoming season?
Mount St. Mary's. They got a lot of kids returning, and they've got a lot of kids in. They have a good coaching staff, and I expect them to be really good.
I'm a piggyback off what you said. They have a lot of kids coming in. What do you Derek, think of all these kids transferring and jumping schools and throughout the summertime and the spring and trying to find the best fit for them? What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just how high school football is now, and you just gotta just go with it, really, honestly, and that's really it. It's just how it is now.
And you guys have a lot of guys coming back and stability and with the coaching staff. Do you guys have anybody coming in that we should keep an eye on the football team this year? Because I feel like a lot of people, like you said, it's high school football now. So you guys have anybody we should keep an eye on that's a newcomer on the team this year?
Hey, I'd say my dog, Garrett Davis. He's a big receiver and really good routes, really good hands. And, he's a dog. And Hunter Purvis, receiver. He's not as big, but he's a really quick receiver. Good at getting out of his breaks. He's really good.
And I'm gonna change the topic back on your development, Derek, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Who has had the biggest influence on your development? And I know you said Coach Sean Love has had a big part, but I know you train outside of, just Jones. But who has had the biggest influence on your development? It could be someone you watch, another coach, or it could just be Coach Love. But who else has had the biggest impact on your development as a player?
Man, that's a good question. I'd say Pat Certain for the Denver Broncos. Okay. Yeah, he's a big corner. He's probably one of the best in the league, and he's definitely him. And
it's kind of funny you said Pat Surtain, because when I was thinking when you said earlier, you're like, man, I love to be on the island. I love the press coverage. I was thinking Pat Surtain, so that's kind of and because he does it the best in the NFL. So how long do you watch his film quite frequently, or is it just or here and there?
Yeah, I like watching his film a lot. Just studying his game and see if I can implement that into mine.
Now that's a great person to study and implement their game after. And so yeah.
Derek, this is more of a you question. So you've accomplished a lot so far. You're just now about to enter your junior year. You got a state championship under your belt. You got the offers rolling in. So what kind of keeps you humble and hungry for more?
That's a good question. I'd say my family is what keeps me humble. Just the way I was raised. Just not to go out there and act like you're all big and tough. Just keep your head down and keep working.
Derek, I want to ask you this. What made you fall in love with football? And when did you know you were in love with football?
The first time I fell in love with football was sitting in the living room as when I was a little kid watching college football. Then when I was in the first grade, I started playing flag football, and that's when the love for the game really sparked.
No, yeah, flag football is fun. But when did you realize
Yeah.
you like to hit the contact though? Because you can't hit anybody in flag football. So I had to ask that because you like to hit too. So I was going to ask you
Yeah.
that. So you're a physical DV. You're not, So when did you like contact?
Fourth grade is when I started playing tackle football. That's really when I
Okay.
started, hitting people.
And Derek, I got 2 questions for you left.
Mm-hmm.
And what inspires you in general, and what's your why of playing football? I know you said your family earlier, but what's your why?
Man, it's my family. Like, just make them happy. Like, that's really it.
All right, and kind of just piggybacking off the question before that, just talk about how important it is to be physical and have that mindset playing corner, because a lot of people just see the glitz and glamour of covering a one-on-one and knowing routes and getting in there to get the ball. But talk about how you kind of set the edge and shed blocks to make tackles, how important that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really important. You have to be aggressive with the receiver to make plays, and you can't just let them run the route. You got to get hands on, and if they're coming to block you, make a move, make the tackle, and that's it.
And this is my last question for Derek. What's some of your favorite hobbies outside of football? It could be anything. What do you love to do outside off the field?
That's a great question. So my favorite hobby is definitely fishing.
And
Definitely.
what makes you love fishing?
Just ever since I was a little kid, I've been fishing basically my whole life, really, and ever since I was a little kid, just fishing all the time.
Fishing is peaceful and relaxing, so I can calmness from the football field. So I can see you liking fishing.
Yeah, it's great.
And kind of talk about, I watched your film, and of course the speed jumps off. That's one of the first thing I noticed. So kind of talk about how you enjoy special teams as well, because that's a very important phase of the game.
I love returning kicks. It's probably one of the funnest things to do in game, and there's no better feeling than just running and right down the middle and scoring a touchdown, like special teams.
Well, Derek, I'm looking forward to watch you guys play this year, and you might see me at the Jones Lincoln Christian game. You kind of sold me on.
You might see me too.
Yeah, you sold me on that one. That's gonna be a good game. Jones and Lincoln Christian coming down the class from 3A. So I'm really interested to see how that transpires. But Derek, I want to wish you the best of luck, and if you need anything here at Super Prep, we got you, brother. But and your
Yes,
brother.
sir.
But no, thank you for coming on Super Prep Radio.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Derek Templeton of Jones High School, Class 2020 Rising Junior. The kid is going to be great. Not good, great. He just picked up his biggest offer from Kansas State last weekend during the 4th of July weekend. He holds offers from Tulsa, Arkansas State, and UTSA as well. I'm interested to see what happens. His brother holds D1 offers as well, so I'm interested to see what happens with Jones and the new coaching staff, returning Sean Love. I'm just interested to see what happens. What do you think of that interview, Jamin?
I think he's going to be great as well. He's got a great support system. It sounds like with his family, wants to play for his family. That would be great for him and his brother to play together at the next level. That would be exceptional. But I think he has all the right things in order. Humble kid. He's got all the physical gifts.
He does.
So I think he's got 2 more years to continue to put things on tape, and then sky's the limit.
I feel like this class of 2028 in football is kind of deep. We interviewed Brett Brady a couple weeks ago from Mustang, he has over 20 D1 offers in football tied in. And there's a bunch of other kids in the class 2028 across the state that have a bunch of D1. I just feel like it's loaded, and I haven't seen a class like this in a long time come out of Oklahoma with all these D1 offers. So
yeah, and to be so young, because you still have time to grow. There's still some names that we don't know yet. There's going to be some guys that come out after this next season that are going to be right up there with them going into their senior year.
But Jones Lincoln Christian, game 1, week 0, that really has caught me off. Ladies and gentlemen, Lincoln Christian is one of the powerhouses in Oklahoma high school football. And I hate to say it, we my last few years of high school, we couldn't beat them. Lost them in the state semifinals twice. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with that game. I'm serious when I say I might go to that game. That game is gonna be ecstatic. But ladies and gentlemen, we have Coach King of the University of Tulsa come on next. But before me and Jamin talk to Coach King, we're going to break and keep tuning to Super Radio. We'll be back. that ball so hard. Hey. Oklahoma City. I'm sorry. I hear some Kanye and Jay-Z had to sing a little bit. Welcome back to Superb Radio. I'm Miles Perry. My man Jamin Dawson is next to me. Shout out to my man Dimitri on the producer side. Dimitri, you make everything so easy for us here. I had to say that. Give a shout to Dimitri real quick.
My guy.
But Jamin, going back to Derek Templeton, I think he's going to be dangerous. Like, dangerous. And I think one thing we didn't talk about, you mentioned it a little bit, man, we still balling so hard in the studio. Shout out to my man D. Wright in the studio. But I just think Derek, his size, you mentioned it, but we didn't talk about it. He's 6'2".
Mm-hmm. Big corner. You don't see a lot of those, and he moves so fluid. That's the good thing about it. He has good route recognition, so having the good mental capacity, but you can go out there and have that mind and body, connection to go with it. So I think he's going to be great going into his junior year as well. And then you got your brother locking down the other side of the field. I believe in iron sharpens iron, so I think they'll both make each other better.
It does, and I think it's just going to be interesting to see. His brother's tall too; they're twins, and I want to see if they can get to 6'4". That's why I mentioned the height.
You never know. You got to get your sleep, drink that milk, stretch it out. But yeah, that's the beauty in it being so young. You really don't know what they can be, and you're already a great prospect this far. Yeah, sky's truly the limit.
No, it is, and we'll see how that transpires, and how that just goes, because I'm the reason why I'm choking up on talking to you guys is because I'm just amazed. They're both 6'2". They both have multiple D1 offers. They don't get talked about enough, to be real with you.
I don't think so, not enough at all.
So I'm happy we shed some light on the Templeton boys and Jones football, because I think Jones they might run it back in 2A1 if Lincoln Christian doesn't come in and shock the world, which I wasn't surprised if they do shock the world. The coaches out there, they're so good, and I hate to say it like this, but they recruit the kids from Bixby and Jinx that don't get to play, and they go play Lincoln Christian.
I mean, and that's just how it goes. But we talk about the landscape every episode.
And it works, because those kids aren't bad either. Because there's just so many kids at Bixby, Jinx, Union, Broken Arrow.
You get disciplined kids that come in to a winning program from a winning program. I mean, the winning is going to come right behind it. So it's good that they get to go and have that chance to go play, wherever that may be. It's just a lot of freedom now with this high school football. So you could easily transfer yourself into a better situation and go win.
Most definitely easy. And the coach at Lincoln Christian has implemented a system that allows him to be adaptable every year, right? And so I'm interested to see that game. I think Jones is really bringing back everybody. They got a new head coach, Coach Reed. They got a new defensive coordinator. They got a new run game coordinator. They got a new everything. So they got 8 new assistant coaches, but they're bringing back Coach Sean Love. Now, Jamin, what I'm interested to talk about with Coach King of Tulsa is, I had to say Tulsa played in NIT National Championship. They came up short to Auburn.
Right.
Oklahoma City native Kevin Overs into game winner. So that's kind of a sweet victory for Oklahoma, but it's sad at the same time. Tulsa to get done. But he's also one of the top 100 mid-major coaches, in all of college basketball. Top 100 assistant. And he's coached at every level, basically. He's played pro. So I'm really interested to hear Coach King talk about the pro side of playing things, because I talk to Coach King a lot, and we've never talked about him playing pro basketball. So what do you hear about Tulsa basketball, though?
They had an exceptional season last year, and the jump they made from 24-25 to, last season was just exceptional. I think they won 30 games.
Yeah.
And I think that was the second biggest jump in Division I basketball from one season to the next.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing on Coach King right now. Coach King, how are you?
I'm good, Miles. How you doing, man?
I'm doing better since I'm talking to you. Before we get going in the interview, I gotta say this: my dad is listening, and he said you don't talk to him anymore. You only talk to me. He wanted me to say that to you, but as a joke. But But
That's funny.
but no, Coach, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm out here in Richmond, Virginia, watching the Puma circuit right now.
How's the talent looking out there, Coach?
It's good. I always say this. People give AAU kids such a hard time, but the one thing you can say is they're all playing hard. They are not playing hard. And I love the fact that those kids are out here, and it's been a long grind. Like from the beginning of like April to now, like these guys have been playing games and tournaments week after week, traveling all across the country. And the fact that these kids are still playing hard, I think it's pretty cool.
And Coach, it's a busy month for you. I would think, right? Recruiting wise, July is a busy month for AAU basketball. So what is it? Is Richmond your first stop? Are you going to go to Vegas for Nike? Or are you going to go to Atlanta for the Under Armour? Or is you just in Richmond this week?
I'm gonna be in Richmond for these 2 days, and then I'm gonna catch an early flight out to Vegas and spend the last day watching EYBL kids, and then I'll be back in, and then the following week I'll be back at Puma again, and then I'll go to Under Armour and then Puma.
Coach, that sounds like a fun few weeks and weekend. Traveling and watching basketball, and but I want to talk about you though, Coach. Coach, I've talked to you forever, and one thing you've never talked to me about is you playing professional basketball in Austria. Now, what was that like?
And that was great, man. Like, I helped take a team from the second division to the first division. We won the middle playoffs. Had a really good experience, played with some really good players. Shout out to Basket Clubs of Vienna. That was my team. And we had a great run. Like Stepan Stajic was a great player. Alan Watson, Big Jeff. Like we had a good run. Mate, I still remember most of those guys that I played with, man. And that was really, really an unbelievable experience.
Coach, this is Jamin Dawson here. Just to piggyback off of that, just talk about the mentality you have to have when you go out there to a different country to go play, and just the adjustment from being away from home.
I tell you what, like the experience was great. Like you learn like new things. When you go other places and play basketball, like you find out new things. Like I was out there and I remember we were playing on the road and we were scoring buckets, and I was like, man, these people must really love us. They're out here whistling and stuff like that. Well, when you go over there, them whistling is them booing at you.
Wow.
And so I would go over there and I was like, and then they were like, no, they're actually booing. That's the way that they boo in their deal. Like, and if you watch some of like the World Cup stuff and the opposing team does something out there, you hear all the whistling going on in the background. That's actually them booing. So that was something I learned, but it was a great experience, man. I was young, gave me a lot of culture for my life, but the mentality I would say, man, you just got to be ready to go and have I will play anybody, anywhere, anytime mentality, because it's a different experience, but it's a great experience. The game is a little bit different. And so you've got to be willing to make those adjustments on the fly so you can go out there and really be successful. It's very competitive. It's ultra, ultra competitive.
And for the listeners that don't know, Coach King is assistant coach at the University of Tulsa here in Oklahoma. He's one of the top 100 top mid-major coaches in the country this year. Coach, I want to congratulate you on that. And Coach, can you tell us a little about the Tulsa program for the viewers and listeners here in Oklahoma City or in the state that don't know too much about the Tulsa program? Tell them a little bit about the program.
Well, University of Tulsa basketball, man, it's got a deep tradition. I mean, there have been some very successful coaches that have been here. I mean, if you think back and you look at Nolan Richardson and Bill Self, Danny Manning, Steve Robinson, and just all the really great coaches that have been here, Tubby Smith, that have been a part of it. And I was just fortunate we were able to go out here as the city's team to really make it proud, to be 30-8 this year, go to the NIT championship game. And we did a lot of great things. We set a conference record for made threes this year with 399 made threes. 3 guys on the all-conference team, Tylen Riley, Miles Barnstable, and David Green. And not to mention just all the other really good players that we had on that team that really allowed us to be able to really put Tulsa basketball back on the forefront where it belongs. And I was really proud of the work that we did this year, and it was really an unbelievable experience.
Coach, I also want to ask you this. I think everybody's wondering this question. How are you guys going to keep the momentum going from last year to this year?
I think you got to lean on the things that we've always done. My head coach, Eric Conkle, he's put together a fabulous plan just in terms of how we evaluate and how we develop our players and just as a staff, along with Coach Conkle, myself, Desmond Heyman, Duffy Conroy, Dashawn Hobson, Alan Massey. All of us have put together a really good plan about how we go out, how we evaluate. We look for a particular type of players and really getting those guys to fit our system. And, our system has been a little bit fluid. In some years we've been a little bit more inside dominant. Other years we were, like last year, shooting the threes. But we're always going to adjust to the talent that we're able to secure at the University of Tulsa and really fit a system that accentuates those guys' strengths.
Coach, you just talked about your top 3 guys, and you got 2 of them now on summer league rosters, and then you had one of them transfer out. Just talk about some of your returners and how you feel about them stepping into new roles.
Yeah, we've got the main 2 guys that we have coming back were Jalen Wall and Miles Rigsby, and those 2 guys were like key reserves for us last year. And we like to say this last year that we had 2 starting 5s out there, and we had 1 starting 5 that just started the game, but we had a number of guys that could finish games. And there were times where Jalen Wall finished games. There were times where Miles Rigsby finished games. And those guys were as productive as our starters. And the beauty of our teams has always been the depth. It's not just any one guy or any 2 guys. It's been the depth of our teams. And so we were very fortunate with Jalen deciding to come back, Miles Rigsby deciding to come back. And those are the 2 main key pieces. And we had to go out and get a couple of other guys to fill out the roster from there.
Coach, I want to talk about the development side of Tulsa basketball. Like he just said, you guys have people playing in the summer league, and you guys returners that are key returners that are good players coming back. How do you guys maximize their development at Tulsa? And how do you get them to the next level of their skill set at Tulsa and then to the next level in pro?
Yeah, so we just finished our first summer program, and I really like to say our summer program is more like training camp. With the way college basketball is, as transient has become, you've got to find a way in the summer to be able to evaluate and assess what you have. And I think the first 3 weeks of our summer program really is a huge part of assessing our talent and just really looking and finding out what guys can do and putting those guys in positions to be successful. The weight room is a huge piece of that. As soon as every guy comes in and they go to the weight room, we measure them in their height, their wingspan, their weight, their body fat. And based upon what your needs are, we'll put together a plan that's going to enhance your strength, your speed, your athleticism, your body composition. And we'll do all of those things. And then we'll start getting into a plan about what we want to do. We like shooting threes. We like guys that have high IQ. And so we're putting those guys in decision making so we can figure out what their processing is like and who's able to handle that stuff. And from there, we'll if it's not as good, we'll start putting you in more situations so you can start making these reads, so you can start doing these things. And so it's not static learning where it's just okay, you're in this spot, you do this, if this happens, you do it. No, we like to keep these fluid movements. So every time you come down a quarter, every time you're in a drill, it gives you a different look. And so you're able to process this information. And so when it happens in a game, it just becomes second nature to you because you've drilled it and you've worked on it so many times.
Coach, I think that's great and wonderful. And I think that it shows. That's what Jamin was talking about the summer league and what you've been talking about. But Coach, I want to talk more about you and your ties to Oklahoma. People don't know, Coach King played at Redlands Community College, helped to win a national championship in 2002. He also coached as assistant and as head coach. Coach King, what does Redlands Community College basketball mean to you?
I mean, it was everything for me. Just at a time of my life, man. I was able to go out to Redlands in my first semester there, man. I walked on actually at Redlands my first semester, and I was able to earn a scholarship second semester. And I wanted to bet on myself. I knew what I was capable of doing. I just needed an opportunity. And Coach Steve Beck, who's now the head coach at Capon, in Wichita, Kansas now, he gave me an opportunity, and I was able to do it. But I got to play with a lot of other good guys here in Oklahoma City. I played with guys that were at Tulsa Central, McLean, East Central, a bunch of kids from Oklahoma City. And so my ties come back from there. And for me, I've always said this, Oklahoma has been for me at every stop of my professional and adult career has been there for me. And so me coming back to Tulsa and just being able to lock back in, and we got a couple of Oklahoma kids on the team now, it really does my heart good. And so I just would love to be able to give back to Oklahoma as much as Oklahoma's given to me.
And, Coach, you're a Florida boy, so do you consider yourself an Oklahoma boy now? You've been in Oklahoma a long time. I just had to ask that real quick.
Hey, now you're going a little too far now, man. I'm still a Florida boy at heart. You're going a little too far now. But nah, man, Oklahoma, I say this all the time, Oklahoma is my second home. It is my second home. And I have so much love for Oklahoma. Like I said, man, it has been here for me in every major moment of my life, of my adult life. Oklahoma's been here for me. So, man, I got nothing but love. My first recruit that I recruited out of Oklahoma was a kid named Rashawn Thomas who went to Southeast High School. And I was at Corpus Christi, and he ended up being the school's all-time leading scorer, rebounder, steals, wins. So like he's like this is what I mean. Like this is my connection to the state. My daughter was born here in Oklahoma. My wife's from Oklahoma. Like Oklahoma means a lot to me.
Coach, just talk about the things that you value from coaching at the JUCO level and just helping players get to that next level.
You know what? My time at junior college, I really felt like it's helped prepare me for like this transfer portal era right now. If you kind of think about it, like back in those days in junior college, you would have guys basically for a year, and guys would either get swooped up by other Division One schools or maybe other junior colleges would come in and make different promises to them, and that's why they were able to do it. And junior college has always been a little bit transient, and so now you're in this world right now where you've got to be able to assess talent pretty quickly. You've got to be able to not just assess the talent, but you've got to be able to collectively put it together, develop chemistry at a very fast rate. All of the things that you used to be able to do over a 2 or 3 or 4 year period, like now sped up to basically a 6 month process. And you've got to be able to figure those things out pretty quickly. So for me, I value, relationships, like me personally, like the guys that I recruit, I like to have a very good relationship because I have a three-part saying: it's respect, it's honesty, and it's love. And you give respect and you get respect. We're gonna have very honest conversations. We're gonna have very honest conversations about your life on the court and off the court. And then you're gonna be able to handle those conversations because they're all coming from a place of love. And so it's the relationship piece. Because you can't get the most out of players if we're not able to be able to have this relationship. So you know that the things that I'm telling you are for the betterment of the team and for yourself in terms of your development. But that's really the huge part. Like that's the basketball component, but I really think the first part, again, and I just keep harping on it, is the relationship piece.
Coach, and I think what you said is wonderful, and I think young high school and kids in JUCO and NIA schools, they're looking to enter the portal, looking to play college basketball, would probably need to hear that piece of advice. But I wanted to ask you, how has this NIL and transfer portal era changed college basketball? I know you kind of talked about it a little bit, but like as a whole, what you're seeing on a day-to-day basis. Now you're dealing with agents 24/7. How does that change your job a little bit, dealing with an agent instead of a parent or probably a high school coach?
Yeah, there was a time where, you were dealing with high school coaches. I think parents are still involved. Obviously, like, I don't think anybody's just going to let their kid go anywhere. I would hope not. But definitely dealing with the agents. But I think the one thing, again, kind of goes to this point is that you still got to be able to evaluate talent. We have these budgets and you have all this NIL budgets, but you still have to be able to evaluate the right pieces. You still have to know what it is that your coach is looking for, what fits your system. Like if you got a system and you're in a place where everybody shoots 3-pointers, then you can't bring a guy in there who can't shoot. So you've got to be able to evaluate. You've got to be able to assess what's going on. You've got to be able to say, like, these pieces fit. I think one of the things that I'm proud about, I actually personally, and I know we do as a staff, as much as we would love our guys to be able to stay here, but we've got guys that have moved on and they've made some life-changing opportunities in front of them, and it's something that we're proud of. I mean, we got 3 guys in the portal right now that are doing very well for themselves and are able to change the fortunes of their family. I think the big piece for me is just while you're here, be where your feet are at, give us everything you got. And that's a conversation that we're going to have on the front end. We're going to be very honest about that. Like, we'd love to be able to have you, keep you, but understanding, like, we know what the nature of the business is. And it's very fluid. Who knows, in another year, with the 5-for-5 rule, they're talking about maybe one-time transferring. Maybe it goes back to being where guys stay put a little bit longer. But as long as it's the way that it is, I want to make sure we get the right people in here that understand our system, that value the relationships with the community, with our fans, with our administration, with the other sports, and just with our staff, and to be able to say, like, hey, we want to buy in and we want to maximize every moment that we're here wearing that Tulsa jersey. And after that, we'll reevaluate it after that.
Coach, on the note of recruiting, while we're talking about it, just talk about how it's changed in the fact that you have one incoming freshman in, but how you have to recruit with so many experienced players just available to your disposal?
Yeah. So I think last year we lost 8 players last year, and so we had to replace them, and we retained a couple of guys to be able to kind of help weather that a little bit. But you lose so many key pieces on your team. Um, I do think that there's still a place for us that we've always recruited high school players during my whole entire time being here at the University of Tulsa. We have always had high school freshmen play for us, and I don't really foresee that changing in the future. But it's the right freshmen. Like if you kind of look at some of the guys that have played, those guys come in with college-ready bodies, and so that's a huge piece. So when we're going out evaluating these guys, we're looking for these college-ready bodies that if you should happen to be in the game and you're ready to go, you're able to physically compete with the older players that are in college basketball. And so that's a big part of it. And then I think that there's a little bit more of a window where times you can retain some freshmen a little bit more because as I go in recruiting, I talk about it should be a 2-year commitment. You should not make a decision about whether you stay or whether you go after 1 year. It should be a 2-year commitment because your first year, you're learning the ropes of college basketball. You're learning all of those things. And then the second year is really the year where you should really take off and excel. And so, like, you got to look at it in a scope like that. Now, are there some instances where guys roll out after a year and they have great success? Yes. But there are also quite a few stories where guys haven't had success and have never been able to recapture that success either. So, like I always say, you got to look at it in a 2-year scope.
Coach, while we're on the top about recruiting, you had you talk about high school guys. You had one good high school player, really good high school player, Denton Forsyth, coming out of Dale. He's at Tulsa now, and then you got one out the portal and Jeremiah Johnson. How do you see those two guys impacting your roster this year?
Hey, Miles, I see what you're doing there, man. You want to talk about your Oklahoma guys? I get it.
Yeah, we got to, Coach. It's OKC Sports Radio. Come on.
And both of those guys are 405 guys. Both of those guys are 405 guys too. So, they're both doing great. I mean, they've been working really hard. I've been so happy with the level of work ethic that those guys have done. And there's always an adjustment. Even though Jeremiah was he was at Campbell University last year. Coming to the University of Tulsa playing in the American Conference is another level up. But he's been working hard in the weight room, doing everything that we ask of him, man. And he's been doing a really good job, and I've been really happy for him. And then Forsyth, man, he's such a tank, man. He's almost 200 pounds right now, man. He's got great feel, really good IQ, and he's doing a really nice job for us. And I've been pretty pleasantly pleased with his progress so far.
No, that's a great to hear, Coach. Coach, I had to ask that question. It's Oklahoma guy. but no, Coach. That's great to hear. They're putting in the work and they go into battle every day. And dang, Denton's 200. He's a big boy.
He's a tank.
No, I'm not surprised. He was pretty built in senior high school, so I'm not surprised he's putting on some more weight in the weight room. But Coach, I want to talk about you coaching at SMU, LA Tech, and Texas A&M-Corpus Christi. How have those prepared you for Tulsa? Because those are other big colleges, at the Division I level, and how has that helped you at Tulsa? Those stops.
Yeah. So when I was at A&M-Corpus, that was such a great spot for me. I got to work with a really veteran staff when I was there. The head coach was Willis Wilson, who's been a mentor and a friend to me and my family. And I couldn't have asked for a better first coach to work for. And just, you talk about a man that epitomizes class, respect, and had a great acumen for basketball and how to develop systems and how to develop culture. And that was something I got from him. And I really appreciate my time there for 4 years. And also I worked with another guy by the name of Mark Danoff and another guy by the name of Marty Gross. Those were the other two assistants when I was there. And those guys had coached for a long time. Like Marty, I think Marty has coached almost as long as I've been alive. And then Mark Danoff had been in the business for a long time. I think he worked for Wimp Sanderson at Tulane. He worked for some other really good coaches. And so, like, just those guys poured into me on a daily basis. And we didn't have, like, the competitive rivalry about what we did when we were there. We just wanted to win games, and we wanted to build relationships with our players, and we wanted to be able to compete at a high level. And we were able to take a program that from 6 wins to 25 wins in 4 years, which was a pretty awesome experience, man, just to see that program get built from the ground up. And then I was at SMU working for Tim Jankovich, and that was really cool because that was an opportunity for me working for Tim Jankovich, which also was a part of the Larry Brown tree, because Larry Brown started the whole deal kind of at SMU that you kind of see now, and Tim Jankovich kind of took over the reins from Coach Brown when he stepped down. And so I was able to be a part of that family, and I was got to see how basketball operated at such an elite level right there, from just how things are supposed to be kind of done just from an administrative standpoint, how they spent, how they poured and invested into the student athlete experience to make sure that those guys knew that they were operating at a high level. And so it gave me some operational insight that I hadn't had before. And so that was pretty good. So if you add culture, you add the operation part of Louisiana Tech, I mean, not Louisiana Tech, but the operation part of SMU and the culture part at A&M-Corpus, and then you see what we're doing here now in Tulsa. It's kind of a culmination of all of those things. And I'd be remiss not to mention that I worked for Eric Conkle at Louisiana Tech. And that was an unbelievable time, too, because we won quite a few games and won some pretty big-time venues and stuff. And so that was a really good experience as well, too.
I saw that y'all had a great home record as well at Louisiana Tech. What do you think kind of went into that, and is that just the culture that you guys put in place for your program?
Yeah, I think it's been great. Like, similar to Louisiana Tech and Corpus, it's such a community-based place. Like, when you're doing well, like, people came out and supported there, and people were passionate about basketball at Louisiana Tech. Like we were there, and we would go there, and people came to games, whether the weather was bad or whatever was going on. People came and supported Louisiana Tech basketball. We were there, and we had really good players, and we had really good players when I was there. And and credit to our guys, they paid attention to the details, to how we prepare from the scouting reports, to all the little things, to stuff that you wouldn't even think about, hydration and getting in the gym and getting extra shots, stretching, all the little things that you need. And those guys prepare for those things. But again, like I said, I think it was the fans. I mean, I think fans make the experience when you play college basketball. Like, our fans this year and the games that we had this year, like, I think about the NIT run that we had, that experience was second to none. It was so passionate. I think about our last game. We played Wichita State before going to the Final Four. Like, that place was electric. And I can't wait for that feeling to happen more often than not next year.
Coach, I want to go back to, coaching responsibilities. And as you said, you learn different operations and different things that just stops you along the way. But what are some of the responsibilities you think fans don't realize you as assistant coach have, and how important your role is on the basketball staff?
So yeah, if you think about, like, we played 38 games last year, and so each coach is responsible for a third of the scouting reports. And so, you're roughly looking at, during the regular season, there's 30 games. Each person's got 10 scouts. And in preparation, sometimes those scouts will fall back to back based upon who the teams were. The scouting responsibility, recruiting responsibilities, fan engagement responsibilities, also developing offensive and defensive systems that will help you win games, because we're always constantly tweaking and we're always looking for edges. So, you have from an offensive standpoint, like, you walk in there and you say, okay, team is playing this particular way of basketball. They're guarding ball screens this particular way. And we have to go and prepare our guys with a package of actions that will prepare and give us an opportunity to be better successful against that team, be better prepared and be successful against those teams. And those processes may be, for us, we may look at 50 to 100 actions, and then we'll meet together, and then we'll pare them down to maybe somewhere between 3 to 7 of those actions that we're only just giving the team, but we may have looked at 50 actions that we need, and that happens throughout the season numerous times. And so that's a huge part of it. And I just would say the preparation part of getting your team prepared to be on a nightly basis to be successful is really a lot more tedious than people think it is. It isn't just rolling the basketball out there and just yelling at the guys and just trying to get them going. There are very specific, detailed things that we're nuanced things that we're using to be able to be successful out there on the court.
Coach, I also want to ask you, what is one motto you guys have at Tulsa? I know you guys said you had the summer camp, you guys did the program, but what is a team motto you guys have throughout the whole season, and one that you had this past year during your NIT run into the championship game?
I think the best one that we have it up in the wall in our locker room, is attitude, commitment, in class. You want to have a first class attitude, you want to have a high level commitment, and you want to operate with class. Like those three things are probably the mantras, and then we will reference those quite often a lot. Just you got to be an energy giver. You don't want guys out here that are drained. You don't want to be looking around and the guys over there are all down all the time. And not to say that we don't go through adversity, but you want to be an energy giver. You want to walk in that gym because this is something that we get to do. It's not something that that like we take for granted. And so we're in a great time. Guys are compensated well. We're in a great facility. You're in a great city. You're in a great community. And we want you to go out there and play with passion and let everybody know how much you enjoy that. And then, then that's a part of the commitment too. And then just operating with class, like how you deal with people. Like I thought one of the fun things for us, like during our run last year, was watching all the kids come in there and how they gravitated to our guys. And they would come and take pictures and get the guys to sign their jerseys. And we would stay in the gym sometimes until the last kid got their jersey and got their stuff signed. And I think that shows a little level of class, and it shows how much our guys really cared and understood how fortunate we were to be doing what we were doing.
Coach, just kind of talking more about that NIT run. You had great regular season. We talked about some of the accolades that you guys were able to accomplish, but just kind of talk about how that journey was to the end and maybe some things that you learned from your team or some things that you didn't know about the team that they showed you during that
run. I would say that just for me in my career, this was probably the most competitive team that I'd ever coached. And I mean, you talk about in the summertime, we had battles with our guys for practice. Like, and I mean, it was day one. I mean, guys were just competing like you wouldn't believe. And guys were hitting shots, and they would come back and hit another shot on good defense. And guys would say, "You're not going to be able to do that again, man." And then the guy would come down and hit that shot, and they would. But there was such a mutual level of respect for how hard that those guys competed, and they carried that over. But I think a lot of that happened with them off the court. Like, this was also a group of guys that spent so much time with each other off the court. Like, they would go and eat at different places. Like, I'm probably giving somebody a free promo right here, but like, I know those guys were at King's Wings sometimes, and they would be hanging out over there eating and stuff. And like, they would just be, 6 of them would be there. They all shared each other's location. The next thing you know, the whole team's in there. And those guys are hanging out, eating and talking and just building those relationships and fostering those things that you need, because everybody's got talent. But the little things like those relationships were huge. And then the other part about it, man, we had a group of guys that loved to work. Like, there was never a time where you wouldn't see guys in the gym getting in time with our GAs, getting time in with our with Dashawn, our player development guy. Like, there was never a time where those things didn't happen. And because of that, those guys saw each other work, and they became competitive about the work too. Like, it wasn't just competitive about the playing. They became competitive about the work. They were trying to outwork someone else. And they were trying to do that because they would see the success someone was having on the court with their work, and they would push them to work even more. And it just only made us better. Like, iron sharpened iron is such an elite level for that group last year. And I'll show you just like one quick story. Like, Miles Barnstable, who's playing with the San Antonio Spurs in the summer league, he was such a workaholic that dude would come in the gym sometimes, and he loved listening to Michael Jackson. So we'd be in there, and the Michael Jackson movie coming out was perfect for him. And so he would be in there playing Michael Jackson. Beatty would be playing in the main arena, music blaring. And it would just be him in the gym with the basketball. Not the gun, not the managers, not the GA. And he would go in there and he would shoot for 30, 40 minutes. And like, for me personally, like, I'm a couple long rebounds away from wrapping up my workout. But that dude didn't miss very much. And so all he had to do was just kind of jog back to under the rim and grab the basketball and spin it back out and shoot. But like, he had that kind of passion and that kind of work ethic, and it spilled over to everyone else. And so again, the competition and the work ethic was what made us so special in the chemistry.
Coach King, that's going to be my last question for you. You kind of hit it a little bit earlier talking about players and development, but I think I want to hit it more direct. What separates good college players from the great college players in today's age of basketball?
I think the competition part, in a day and age where people can move around whenever they want to, and if you're unhappy or if you don't like it, you can go switch teams and you can go somewhere else. But again, I think the players
who have long-term vision and goals and understand that, like, hey, it is a long game. It is a marathon, and it is not a sprint. The guys who do that and are willing to invest in themselves, invest in the relationships, and to be givers and not just takers, I think those are the things that separate players. Like, again, like tons of guys out here who can run and jump, tons of guys who can shoot threes and dribble and do all this other stuff. But are there guys who are willing, when things aren't going right, to cheer for their teammates? Like, I think about like a guy like Jalen Lawal for us. Like, he had games where he led us in scoring, but then he also had games where he only played 5 or 6 minutes. Would Jalen Lawal like to have played more? Absolutely. Was Jalen Lawal going to let that make him toxic and not be beneficial to his teammate? Absolutely not. And as a result of that, I think Jalen Lawal is going to have a very, very successful career because he understands the sacrifice it takes about being a part of a great winning team. And I think that people don't really realize that when you become a winner, like, it spills over to other parts of your life. Like, if you take the philosophies of working hard, being a good teammate, you got to be a good teammate in a marriage. You got to be a good teammate in all facets of your life, in corporate entities. You got to be a good teammate in all these other spaces. So if you never learn how to be a good teammate at the foundational grassroots level of it, how are you going to do it when you become older and you become an adult? And when it's time for you to be successful, you got to make sacrifices. So I think that those things are the separators for young people. Like, learn how to make some sacrifice, like now. Like, I think it's important to learn that at this level right now.
Coach, just to wrap it up, talk about some of the transfer ins that you guys have had, and who should we be watching coming in next season?
Watch them all. You need to watch them all. You need to get in there, get your season tickets. You can call up to the University of Tulsa, to the box office, and get your season tickets. You need to call them all. You need to come watch them all. But we got a bunch of guys. I mean, we got Christi, a big transfer from Middle Tennessee, 6'10", probably 250 pounds. He's tough. He's athletic. Like, we've got some really good players. Jeremiah Johnson, you guys mentioned him. A guy you Oklahoma people familiar with him. Really good, talented combo guard. Mike Williams, another talented combo guard from Seton Hall. Kobe Williams, who decided to come to the right side of the rivalry, transfer in from Missouri State, who can really shoot it. Made over 63s last year. I know I'm forgetting some people. Macon Emery, a 6'9" forward from Delaware University, who's a really good player for them. Transferring over, he's talented, can score, athletic. Darrell Desire, another junior college transfer from Trinity Valley, 6'10", really bouncy, really athletic, left-handed. Went to the championship game of the junior college national tournament last year in Hutch. And Big Alexi, let me not forget my Serbian guy. He's talented and skilled, transferred from Creighton, really, really good player. And so we've got a bunch of guys. And like my number one thing, those guys are all in the gym, working hard. We're putting plans together for these guys to make the necessary jump because, we know what the bar is now, man. We've set the bar last night. We're not going to go backwards as a program. It's only forward from here, and it's only up from here.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for coming on Superb Radio, and I enjoyed it, and I know, you're a Florida boy, but you got some Oklahoma roots, and you have to say that before you get off the phone with you, Coach. But I appreciate you coming on, Coach, and good luck this season. I'm going to come catch some games this year.
Hey, Miles, man, we'd love to have you, man. Come stop in the practice and come meet some of the guys, man. We'd love to have you guys come and be a part of our program too, man. Like, we're not only are we the city's team, but we're the state's team, and we're the best team in the state last year. And we want to continue that progress and continue that stride, and we're super excited about it.
Well, Coach, count me in. I'll be there. I'll let you know when I'm coming. So, but I appreciate you for coming on, Coach.
Fellas, I appreciate y'all having me, man. This was awesome, man. I stepped out of the gym right now, man, so I'm going to run back in the gym and watch some more games.
All right, Coach. Have fun this weekend.
I appreciate you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Yaphett King, Tulsa. Hey, he said they're the best team in the state, you guys, and he said go buy your tickets right now. If you are in, Oklahoma City, you can go buy some Tulsa tickets too. But shout out to the people down in 918 representing Tulsa. He wants you to go buy some tickets. I'll be there. You gonna be there, Jamie? You gonna come? You come with me? You gonna go?
Yeah, we got to parlay. We got to parlay on that, bro. Don't leave me here in the city, man. I gotta go.
I'm not gonna leave you here in the city. But I enjoyed the interview. Oklahoma City is Superb Radio. Miles Parrish, Jamin Dawson. We're at the Superb Command Center. And we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about Coach King's interview a little bit. But we'll be right back. Oklahoma City. Ball too hard again. Shout out to Jay-Z and Kanye West. But, Jamin, welcome back to Super Brothers. I'm Miles Perry. I'm with Jamin Dawson. We just got done interviewing Coach King, the assistant men's basketball coach of the University of Tulsa. Jamin, he said they're the best team in the state.
It's kind of hard to argue that. We were just sitting there talking while we were on break. I mean, Langston basketball, of course, we do a lot of coverage for them, but they're the only team that comes close. OU and O-State got some work to do.
Yeah, and Coach King was kind of recruiting. Well, he's supposed to be. He's supposed to recruit on here. Our target audience is who he's recruiting.
He's out recruiting
right
now.
He's in Virginia. He's in Richmond, Virginia, recruiting right now. But why I'm saying he was recruiting, I don't know. We were talking about air. He said we play hard, we have nice facilities, and we compensate well. That's the age of college basketball.
It really is, and you got to let these guys know, plain and simple. I like one thing in the interview. He said we keep it real with our guys, in the first few minutes and when they talk. So I think that's a big thing, the honesty thing and transparency. That'll help both sides, the coaches and the program, and as well as the players.
No, I think that's big too, because I think a lot of kids, and when you're dealing with the agent and the portal and coaches, I think a lot of kids don't know what's true and what's not true anymore. Especially the media. Right?
Yeah.
There's all these sources and who's the main source and who's really giving you the real information. So I think the honesty part is big, and I think that was cool. He's also said with some love, right? Is what he's talking about too. So, what else you take from it, Jamie?
Just talking about what we were just saying. He's a relationship guy, and that's very important in this world of recruiting and in sports because. Some things are promised off court, and then when you start playing, really nothing's promised besides the work you put in. So I think having those relationships will definitely keep things in order, and maybe things will go how they're supposed to go on the playing field. And he just knows basketball. He's been around. He's coached a while, and he's been a part of some great programs, and he's picked up a lot of different things from different places.
I think one of the coolest things he talked about, I know he kind of got on my head a little bit. When I asked the Oklahoma questions about the boys from the 405, I had to ask that. It's OKC Sports Radio. But anyways, besides that point, didn't Forsyth 200 pounds?
Yeah, he's been eating and lifting for sure since he's been in Tulsa. I'll tell you that.
Dang, that's a big guard right there.
He's gonna be ready to be on the floor. I would say to be a freshman coming right out of high school. I think that's a big note. And
I think he could play legitimately this year. Coach King said to me and Jamie, he goes, "We got to come to a practice." So I'm gonna do that because I want to see what he's going up against in practice. I know Jalen, the starting point guard, he's good. He was big in Texas. He's a 4-star. He's a big recruit they got last year for Tulsa out of high school, and I think it's really gonna be cool to see how Denton plays, and I think it's gonna be cool to see how Jeremiah plays too. Jeremiah Johnson, attended Putnam City, went post grad to Wasatch Academy. But I think he's gonna have a big year. He had a big year at Campbell University, small mid-major D1 basketball school. But it's cool to see all these Oklahoma kids, not even just in Oklahoma at Tulsa, but around the country playing at the D1 level. So I think that's really cool. But Oklahoma City, I appreciate you guys for listening to Super Radio tonight. It was a great show. Jamie, got anything to say before we close out?
Nothing, man. You continuously bring good guests here, and it's been great.
Well, I appreciate that. You bring good guests here too. But shout out to D Wright in the studio. Shout out to my guy Demetrius here, our producer. I'm Miles Perry, Jamin Dawson, Super Radio. We'll see you guys next Thursday, same time.